Today I'm going to show everybody how to trim and cut up your Alocasia, whether it's a giant Burnout or a Regal shield, and I'll give you a demonstration on my own stuff, and then I'll show you little ones. Basically what I use is just a serrated house knife. Works out real well, has enough length, and what you want to do is first check for frogs so they're not inside. You don't cut them in half. And see this leaf, this is about at it, so I come and I just cut it a nice clean cut like that. Then I'll take this one off as well, and I get as close as I can, because later these will die, these two will die, and then you can peel them off, and then you can end up cleaning out the bottom like I do. I just take the knife very lightly upside down and you know, get it so it's nice and cleaned up. This is a little example. This is an older one, so I just let it stay on there. It gets mushy, and I wouldn't touch them if you have allergies and without gloves. And so this one can come off, but I'm going to wait a little bit because I need to provide some shade for that. And then you look around and you see which ones might need it, and you can keep them on there as long as you like, but I keep mine a little more trimmed up, and that's pretty much it for that. And you never want to cut the top through like this. You can if you make a mistake, and it will grow back, but I would not recommend it, and there's really no reason for it. As you can see, I'm already getting a new elephant ear coming out here. So with those two gone, this will come out, you know, so on and so forth. It'll end up usually on a, generally speaking, once they get going in the heat of the summer with water, you could have about 3 or 4 or 5 fronds on there, no problem. And that's it. Now we'll go to the back and I'll show you some smaller ones. We'll just pause here for it. Okay, so we're over here now on the other side. I'm going to trim the Regal shield, which is this one. I'll also cut this one off. Again, looking for frogs. I just come in here and take that off. Now in here I'll use a smaller little knife. I just like to use these. They're much better. And see this thing? To me it's pretty much gone, so I don't need it, and I'm real careful. And I get there like that, and then this one can also be taken off. Just be careful you don't go too far into the main meat of the other plant. And then I'll reach around this side and trim that one off, and then you have them all, you know, so they look really nice. And then again, you can, the dead stuff, you just kind of, you can use the back end of your knife and just go up and down lightly. Don't go hard to make big scarring, but you could just do that. You can see, just pull these down. If you're not allergic, it's not a problem, but these are not as irritant as others. And then you can end up, just do it with my hand and then clean it up a little bit, take the mess away, and then you end up just taking some of it down, and you got a nice base right there. And then you can zoom back out without me in it, and you can see how much nicer the plant looks now in your garden. It's all trimmed up. So all right, we'll pause here and we'll start again on another one in the back. Okay, I'm going to now do a low rider, Alocasia low rider. It's one of the bigger ones I have, and these, they don't take too much water. And all you do, I'll use the smaller little knife. You know, these are just little house knives that I use, and they're real simple. You don't need anything fancy. 10 cents or $1, and you just cut off your dead ones. This one isn't bad. I just personally don't. I don't like to keep them like that when I know I'm going to get new growth. And you see, this is a dead one here. Now there's another trick. You could hold the base of it and you could pull it, give it a quick pull, and you can see down there you're not going to have a problem. So these are pretty much trimmed up, and then I'll go back later and, you know, make sure they're pretty trimmed, pretty close, because so they look as good as possible. But when you're dealing with multiple ones, you got to be very careful that you don't cut extra fronds off. And everything here looks pretty good. And again, you know, you could peel this back. You just take the tusk here on the surface, and that's it, and easily just remove it. It's dead. Again, if you're allergic to this stuff, use some gloves. Again, these don't have the low riders, Regal shields. They're not the same as the crinkly leaf giant ones like they sell at Home Depot. Those do have some metallic in them, and they will give you, they get inside and they give you a rash. And so next here's a small Heliconia. I'll just show you what to do. I don't have any large ones I could do, but as an example, this, if you have it, you could say, well, it's not looking so good. Or when yours end up having their bract, you just take it and cut it. So I mean, by cutting them down, you just cut it down off like that, and then you're left, and take as much off of all these others as you want. And that would look, that's not a bad trim right there. If you want this off, I use my smaller one again. You take that one off. You know, I would leave, if this doesn't bother anybody and you're not doing show pieces, then I would leave this on as long as possible until this plant's smaller and let it get more established. And then again, here's another little smaller low rider, and again, you just get as close as you can to the base, and I kind of angle my knife outward a little bit, so I'm not going straight down, I'm kind of angling it a little bit, which you can kind of see, and there's your plant. It looks nice, and they're trimmed up and they look good. And the bigger, when you have the flowers in here, you could just reach in again with this little knife. You could use scissors, the paring scissors, and you just snip this off. So, you know, everything looks cleaned. I just go through and clean them all up. And that's it, and leave the other flowers. See, this one has another flower. This looks nice. It's got a new leaf. Now, when you see this kind of stuff on your plants, if you go back out, or if you got a nice shot there, just keep that. But you can see the new ones, this is a little bit of exhaustion from the plant. So that is the advantage and disadvantage. Fertilizer will get you the plant big quickly, but it will also, if you don't continue to feed it in the amount of fertilizer that it's used to, you'll get some exhaustion by the plant, which is fine. You just leave it and let it go, and it'll gain back, and you throw some more fertilizer. I just put some more of these I've had for a couple weeks, 3 weeks, so I just put some, I just bought some 13 13 13, so usually 8 10 10 would probably be just fine. So that's it for now as far as trimming the Alocasia and your any of your Heliconia, and that's what I would do, and keep them nice and cleaned up, and that's it. But again, never cut them straight like that. And when one thing I will mention, use it proportionally, but on a plant that's like this but 3 times the size, you could back up some, and this is just but as an example for everybody. When they get big like this and they end up get very tall and you're not happy with it, it has very small elephant ear, you can just, if you're and you have a bunch new growths, you can just use this, you can cut them off, just lay this in the ground, half in the ground, half in dirt, and you can regrow it and it'll grow again. This still has a lot of life in it, but when they get very tall, eventually you know, they can die out. So, and that's it. Okay, you can turn.